Alright guys, this is part 2 of the notes. Remember to go through all your equation solving steps, distribute, combine like terms, move variables to one side, move your numbers to the other side, solve and check. So first we're going to distribute. When I multiply, remember that's not just 3, that's negative 3, because this minus sign stays with the 3. So it's negative 3x, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, bring everything else down. Greater than 4, and we've got x over here. Now, look at your left. Do you have any like terms? Yes, I've got x and minus 3x. Remember, if there's not a number written in front, assume it's a 1. 1 minus 3x is negative 2x. Then we have still minus 6 greater than 4. Next step, move your numbers to the other side. So add 6. I get negative 2x is greater than 10. In my last step, I'm going to divide by 2. And then when I cancel that out, I get x and I get negative 5. Now something unique is going to happen whenever you divide by a negative. This symbol, whatever direction it's going to flip the other way. So instead of greater than, this is going to flip to less than. And you'll understand more when we actually plug in to try and check this. So on our number line, circle here, put negative 5, put numbers above it, so negative 4, negative 3, put numbers below it, negative 6, negative 7, and this is x is less than negative 5, so we're actually going to shade in this side. Now, if you're unsure which side to shade in, you can always plug in before you shade in. For example, let's pick a number that's greater than negative 5. Let's see if it should have gone the other way. So we'll pick negative, actually, we'll go all the way to 0. I like to plug in 0. Usually it makes the math a little easier. So if I plugged in 0, I've got 0 minus 3 times, parentheses, 0 plus 2, and it should be greater than 4. So 3 times 0 plus 2, and it has a negative 3. So this is going to be negative 6, and 0 minus 6 is negative 6. Is negative 6 greater than 4? No, that's not. So these numbers over here, they don't work. Now, let's try a number smaller than negative 5. Let's try, let's just go 1 over. Let's try negative 6. So if I've got negative 6 minus 3, parentheses, negative 6 plus 2, that should be greater than 4. So here we go. Negative 6 still there, negative 3 times, and this is going to be negative 4, which will give me positive 12. And negative 6 minus 12 is actually positive 6. So is 6 greater than 4? Yes, and that's what we needed. So all of these numbers should work. So the only thing different about this was if you divide by a negative, you flip the sign. Now, if you have a negative in there, like number 3, we had negative 10 divided by 5, you don't flip the sign, it stays the same. But if the number you're dividing by on the bottom has a negative, it flips. You just flip the sign. If it doesn't, the sign stays the same. Okay? Now, let's do the last one, number 4. Solve the inequality first. Distribute. So, negative 8 times x is 8x. Negative 8 times negative 1, positive 8, minus x should be less than or equal to negative 28. Now, combine your like terms. I've got a negative 8 and a negative 1x. Negative 8x minus 1x is going to be negative 9x plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 28. Now, I'm going to move my numbers to the other side, so subtract 8. Negative 9x is less than or equal to negative 36. In the last step, I've got to divide by negative 9. But when I do that, my bottom number is a negative. Whenever you get a bottom number as a negative, your sign will flip. So we've got x, 36 divided by 9 is 4, and then changes less than or equal to a greater than or equal to. On our graph, come over here, 4, circle it, put numbers above it, 5, 6, put numbers below it, 3, 2. Now, we're going to highlight the ones greater than or equal to. So it's going to be these ones right here. And just to check it, let's plug in a number above and then plug in a number below. So above should work. If I plug it into the original, negative 8 times, and let's go ahead and just use 5, minus 1, minus 5 should be less than or equal to negative 28. Negative 8 times 4 is going to be negative 32, minus 5 more will give me negative 37, and you know what? That is less than or equal to negative 28. So that one, this side, checks out. Let's try one on the other side just to make sure that 4 is the bubble. So let's try, you know what? Let's try 0. So if I plug that in, it's going to be negative 8 times parentheses 0 minus 1 minus 0, and it should be less than or equal to negative 28. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. And then 8 minus 0 is just 8. Is 8 less than or equal to negative 28? No, not at all. Does not work. So these numbers over here won't work. The one thing we left out, this doesn't just say less than, it says less than or equal to. So what do we need to do with this bubble here? Good. We need to fill it in. We include 4 as a value. And if you're not sure, take that number and plug it in. So, and I know we're running out of room, so I'm just going to work it up here where I've got some room. Let's put in positive 4 into all this. So negative 8 times 4 minus 1 minus 4 should be less than or equal to negative 28. And 4 minus 1 is 3. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Negative 24 minus 4 more is negative 28. And negative 28 is equal to negative 28. So since the symbol says less than or equal to, it still checks out. So 4 is included. All right? Make sure you keep up with your notes and then try the homework that goes with this.